everybody, I hope you're all having a great day so far, and a good week. Mine, my day's actually been pretty good so far. Um, I'm just a bit worried because there's a pretty bad looking hurricane moving towards me, but I'm not in the direct line, so hopefully everything will turn out okay. But speaking about that, I might not be able to stream tomorrow just because I might have to help keep everything under control, so just watch my channel feed for news about that. But let's move on to some programming, I think. So yesterday we had started on after turn effect, which I have been calling end of turn effects, but I think after turn effects makes a little more sense. But anyway, they are just special functions that a mod can define to do pretty much all kinds of things. They just assign certain actions that the game will take. Like one example would be if a monster has a poison stat, then they would need to, I don't know, maybe tick down a poison turn counter and also deal some damage to that monster. That'd be one example. Since we don't actually have a statistic manipulation yet for our end of turn effect, we have two. One of them does nothing except, not right now, except print out a debug line, and then another one will move a monster if it's in a specific position on the board. And we should probably do another print line here. Okay, so that way we can make sure that this one actually runs. Okay, so one thing I wrote here is that we need to, okay, well let's just go down the line. So first we need to add after turn effect functions to the game data, which would happen here. Okay, so we do a bunch of functions, so we might as well just deal with them right here up front. So let's private void add after turn effect functions. So we need to loop through the loaded mods functions. So for after, let's see, what do I want to call this? Definition in mod dot after, oh, table of contents, then after turn effects. So if definition, oh, I put int there, it should be variable. Okay, so if the function is not null or empty, so string is null or empty is false. Really, that should never happen, because if this is false, I mean, if it is null or empty, an error would have been thrown earlier, but might as well just be safe. Oh, right, for each. And so now we can just so we need to sort these functions, but we don't actually need to store the priority in the game data. So we need to, I think, have yeah, another little dictionary out here. I guess it doesn't have to be a state variable. Yeah, this is another class that could probably be split up. dictionary, let's do closure to integer, and this will be after turn effect priorities. So yeah, down here. Okay, so now all we need to do is add this to the database. Okay, I'm gonna start renaming everything to the after turn effect that I can, I think. So mod and then the after turn effect definition function. Okay, so that will give us the Lua closure, and we won't need to sort it just yet. I guess I should actually have a reference to it here because I'm going to need to add the priority. And then here we'll have the dictionary, closure to integer priorities. Okay, so I just thought it doesn't really make sense if there's two after turn effects that refer to the same function. But an easy way we can actually deal with that is by using this dictionary here. So yeah, we're in luck. So if priorities, okay, I'm having a really hard time typing that out. So if we already contain a reference to this function, then we need to throw new loading exception. Okay, and yeah, these exceptions are still old in that they use strings. So we're gonna need to change this, but later on. But for now, I'll just say repeated after turn effect function. Otherwise, we would add the priority here. Equals after turn effect definition.priority. And we don't really need to test this because priority can be any integer value. Okay, so now we'll just call add after turn effect functions for the framework. And then we'll need to do it for each content mod. What did I not like about that? Oh, that's weird. I thought I copied that. Anyway, and so now we can sort the database here. I think there should be a nice sort by function, isn't there? And link. I guess not. We can write it ourselves. It's not that difficult. Hi Bowies, thanks for stopping by. Okay, so if something has a lower or priority that's less than another, that means that it should be ran first. So if we return a negative number here, that means it goes before. So yeah, it's turn effect priorities A minus after turn effect priorities B. I think that's all we have to do. There's faster ways we could do this, but since it's in the loading phase, it doesn't really matter. Tell you about the game platform, etc. Okay, so I'm making Obviously, it's, as you can see from the description, it's like a Pokemon style game that's going to be on a 2D board like Fire Emblem. And I'm going to support modding through Lua functions and online multiplayer. And it's built in Unity using C#. And here's, okay, the game's unfortunately not compilable right now because I'm in the middle of adding some new functionality, but I'll run it as soon as possible. What was that error about anyway? For each, okay, I forgot to check if this array was empty. So if the after turn effects is null, then we're not going to load any. Oh, you're a composer looking for some people to work with? Oh, that's cool. It's a little early for me to really think too much about music, but... Oh. Well, I guess you don't have to worry that much about programming. But here's like the game board. Of course, there's no final art yet, but I can tell this creature to move there, and then I can command this other one, and then after it will connect to the server and make sure that those are valid moves. The little creatures will move over different positions. That's a bit how far we've gotten so far. Okay, just browsing, yeah, definitely. Okay, so yeah, now we got all the way down to where it says the feature is not implemented, which we knew about because that's what we're working on right now. So I guess it did load the turn effects. I don't need that anymore. As I've said before, I really should try to clean up this debug log a little bit. What is this? Add action. Okay, we'll leave that in. Do I do all the modeling art? I plan to, but the good thing about, since the game will be fully moddable, a lot of the art can be left up to mod authors to do. But I do think I'd like to make some sort of like default campaign or story mode that comes with the game, and for that I'll of course be making the modeling or the models. I haven't gotten that far yet, obviously. Okay, so yeah, just making sure everything was still fine. Alright, so now, as I was explaining last time... Oh, thanks for the follow, Bowies, I appreciate it. We need to basically remove this phase because it's not needed anymore. No, actually, before I go on, we should test to make sure that this is sorted right. So let's look. Okay, I'm gonna actually invert these because I want this to be sorted to the front. Okay, so unfortunately, Lua functions will not show up in the debug console over here, so I'm going to need to print something out to the console. But there's not... Okay, well, it's going to be difficult to test this because we can print out these functions, but I don't think we'll be able to get any good information because this just stores the Lua function and not the name. So I think in order to test this as sorted correctly, we'll need to actually run the functions, which I guess we're getting to right now. Okay, so yeah, let's remove this. And the reason, again, that we don't have to use this phase anymore is because we switched around some of the game logic and used to, like we changed it so the choice phase you just send a selection to the server, and then the ordering phase changes those selections into the actual actions the game will take. But for the after turn effects, we don't have to send anything to the server until we actually get all the actions, so this phase is no more. And that's going to trigger quite a bit of oops, I can't see anything. It's going to trigger quite a bit of errors in Unity because that enumeration is gone now. Let's just go one by one and fix some of it. Okay, I'll start here. Okay, so this is the connection manager, and it just tries to keep everything synchronized with the server. Okay, so this is actually pretty simple. I can remove this as well while I'm working on it. And this whole block. Okay, so that's good. I guess I should do the choice phase manager and work on this a bit. Alright, so this is all okay. Yeah, because it doesn't care about the turn phase really. It's just things like this. And then here, I think for the most part all we have to do is just remove these lines and everything will still work fine. Because luckily we didn't have any special logic for them for the most part. Okay, this is receiving a message from the server, and it's just going to get back the the turn selection, so yeah, no changes there except removing those lines. This code, okay, it's supposed to send it to the server, so we actually don't need to even send a message. So let's just return a new empty message. Before we had to switch between gosh, this song is not very, it's a little dissonant for me. Anyway, so before we had to send a message saying if we either wanted the end of turn effect actions or the choice actions, but now, like I was saying, that distinction won't exist, so we can just send an empty message. Okay, yeah, we can remove these ready check types. Actually, these names make more sense, but since we reshuffled everything, I'll just rename those later. That's going to trigger a lot more errors for sure. this code is kind of not needed anymore, but we could reuse it during the ordering phase. I think I'll just go ahead and delete it just to make things cleaner, and we can just start from scratch. Okay, now it's going to say, oh. Okay, so yeah, this is the turn flow manager. So we just take that out. And then once we execute choices, instead of going to inner turn effects calculation, we go to effects. Yeah, ordering, okay. And then, let's see, where does this pop up? And yeah, after that it goes to execute, that's fine. We can delete that class that I just erased. Okay, and then the rest of this is all server. And while we're messing with the server, we also need to change right here, server play phase. You can also get rid of this there. Probably cause some more errors. Okay, so let's clean up the windows we have open. Okay, so we don't need this. This is accept selections, and again, the inner turn effects don't have any selections, so that's why we're getting rid of all this. On phase change, okay, we actually don't need this function at all. Okay, and then here we store the message that the players send to us, and again we just always store it in turn selections. And now we'll only accept during the choice actions phase. Okay, that was pretty painless. Okay, so now this is a server flow. So after we execute the chosen actions, then we move straight to the inner turn ordering calculation. So I can just excuse me, delete this code. I think. Okay, so what is this? Flow manager. Oh, I see. Okay. I remember now. I was looking for where do I transition from the end of turn ordering calculation to the next phase, but that's because this is only for simple ready checks, and so the end of turn is somewhere else down here. I need to get a drink of water, my voice is breaking up. Alright, that's better. And then here on action message received, yeah, this should be changed. And this is on, I guess I'll leave it ordering. And so this is fine. Nothing else. So here we actually provide the selections back to the players. And yeah, so this is a part, like if you remember when we tested the client, or changed the client side, we didn't need any message. So here we can just type in empty message. So the reply message, we don't really care what the game sends us, we just always send that.
Hello, the automatic diagnostic and announcement system welcomes you.
And then we'll only return if the phase is after the calculation, which is still true. Just need to move that out. Oh, and actually, yeah, we can remove that switch statement entirely. Okay, so yeah, this is way simpler. Okay, so this is a ready check, and I think this can pretty much be solved just by deleting these non-existent phases anymore. Okay, so yeah, just a bit of busy work, but didn't seem to cause any problems, hopefully. Okay, so let's play the game and check, make sure everything still works fine. Okay, so we did get an error. Let's see. Lua runtime exception at secret quest handler. What is this? Cache received. Trying to figure this out. So Lua runtime exception at call script. Okay, so yeah, but it's not like giving me the actual Lua. Like the Lua error. Okay, we don't need that anymore. It seems like it's after trying to sort players, but I didn't even touch any code here. So there's questing speed for both monsters. So you know it's gonna throw an error because I changed some code. Okay, let's just try it again. Okay, still an error. Okay, maybe we can just see on what line.
Gordon Freeman. Time to choose.
Async call script at 1:34. Well, it's not gonna help us. Yeah, usually there's a decorated message. Has a bit more information. Oh, actually, I know why. It's because we don't have a good toString here for the play exception. Okay, so let's do something a little fancy here. I'll use a string builder. Maybe a bit overkill. So string builder and error, and then the string builder append type, and then for plus the info. Yeah, I don't know why that didn't type out the first time. I actually need to append something else here. And then we'll append whatever is in the info array. And if I is not the very last entry, we'll also add a comma, SB, and a closing bracket. So this was a problem because, yeah, the decorated message was still there, but since we had such a bad two-string there, it doesn't actually print it, which is a problem. Okay, so let's see. Who of our time structure framework functions attempt to call a nil value at line 19. Okay, so I don't know why either of these would be nil, because I didn't change anything to do that. I can see I don't need to print out error right there because it's redundant. Okay, well, I guess the best way to do this is to just print stat, owner monster, and print stat dot owner monster owner player, and we'll see where the nil value is. I have no idea how any of the code I changed could be causing this. I guess we could actually look back through the flow and see if we can see something weird. Okay, so it's loading stuff and generating the world. Okay, so now gonna set a ready check. So initialize turn. Ready check's done. So now it's running the script, creating new async enabled script 0, calling script 0, blah, blah. That's okay. Okay, so choice actions, calculation, choose monsters. Okay, get rid of this stuff. That was us just printing, oh, we already did do it actually. Oh wait, no, I want to delete that position because I don't need that to be printed anymore. Window. So that is done, then we say option index 3 is chosen. What is this? Okay, well, this is just leftover. So selection received. Functions are misnamed now because I changed it from selections to actions, so I need to try to change the names whenever I see them. Okay, so now the other player is choosing, everything looks fine. Okay, and now submit choices. Send out ready check. What's this? Okay, I guess I was making sure that a message was being created there. set turn selections. Okay, and then the server switches to choice actions. Check. Okay, so now we request actions. This is all good. Okay, well that maybe these actions are empty. Because that wouldn't throw any errors really. Well, the problem is so yeah, it's telling the monster gold stat speed is 2, so it has the information about the specific monster it wants to get. And it yielded a list. Okay, now it added an action right there. Okay, so it's sent it to the server. What is this? So play accept ordering manager. Okay, so it's just like that choice or end of turn things. Let's look. Okay, and then it switches server, ready check. Don't need that. So now we request a server ordering. So we got farther than I thought actually. So choice execute. Oh, okay, I know. Yeah, so it moved all the way to the after turn effects ordering, and then it starts to try to move through the ordering phase. Okay, so that's actually the problem. Okay, so it's actually all working fine. It's just I was waiting for it to go to that not implemented exception, which does not happen anymore because we did implement it now. Or we actually just removed that code. Okay, so let's see. Let's go to the ordering subphase and add anything new that we'll need here. So the end of turn effects basically can also do this. So what we won't, we'll skip this. So the sort just sorts the players, but yeah, we don't have to do that because the end of turn effects are sorted by priority. So yeah, just during the end of, or after turn effects, we skip to create actions and then send the server. Okay, and then this all is the same as always. Okay. So let's go to the ordering phase manager and we'll figure out. So request server ordering, that's okay. So it's right here. During ordering, we go, okay, well actually we both want to go to the start wait, it's the start ordering thing. this is all set up. Did I do this already? Okay, yeah, I added in that. Okay, so what I need to do here is actually switch the turn phase. Oh, I can't. So I'll just have to do it like that. Okay, so if turn phase. Okay, let's say bool and sync is false. And if we're at the in the ordering phase, then it's just this. But if we're in the end of the end of turn phase, then we need to move right ahead to create actions. And then if in sync is false, then we move all the way to the quest server ordering, because the server is ahead of us, so it already has our submissions for these values. So we just go ahead and just re-download them. That would happen if we got disconnected and rejoined the game somehow. Okay, that's fine. Where else is this called? Oh yeah, so this is if we get disconnected and then we reconnect during the start wait. Okay. So let's play, and well, one other thing I need to do. Where's the class that handles this? It's the ordering action creator. It will actually need to know if it's in the turn phase or not. Alright, yeah, if it's in the right turn phase, so we'll need to get another variable here. I don't know if you guys can hear that. There's a locust that's super loud outside my window. I apologize. But we don't really need to have a listener that tells us when this changes. We just need to have this value around for when needed. And then on ordering phase change. So if we're not in the ordering phase, this is actually maybe I can make this even simpler. So let's not do this, actually, because we're going to have to change this class quite a bit, and it could add some complexities. Let's just add something new here. So this will be create selection actions. Let's make another line, and then we'll have a create after turn effect actions. And so that'll make it a little simpler, or a little more clear. So now in this connection phase, I need to update it just slightly. And I think that's everywhere I need to add that. So now this action creator, like this phase will never be reached during the after turn effects, so we don't need to try and listen for that. Okay, so now the game will get here and then nothing will happen. So let's just test and make sure that is true. Oops, wrong key. Choice phase. Okay, so it's requesting the server ordering. Maybe I did something wrong. Oh, I know what. I forgot to set NSync to true right here. So now it's creating, yeah, it got set to create after turn effect actions. And now the game will just be frozen here forever because we don't have a handler for that. Okay, so let's add that class now. Okay, so now both of these are under control. That didn't take quite as long as I thought. Okay, so this will be the after turn effect. Let's actually do the acronym. After turn effect action creator. Okay, so what do we need here? It's going to be quite a lot like the ordering action creator, actually, but a little. Well, actually, no. We'll run. Oh, let's see. So it will be a lot like this because except the selection won't exist, obviously. But we'll have a list of game actions for each index, and then yeah, we'll need to see if we're waiting for the return call or not. Yeah, because we'll call all the scripts at once, and that way they can send requests to the server in one big package. And then yeah, and then we'll get the action list back. And once all the states are complete, then we'll compile them all into one big list. So these classes are actually going to be very similar. I just had an idea that's kind of unrelated. So if two different scripts ask for the same stat from the server, is that handled correctly? Okay, I do have this equals, so maybe it does check to see if there's duplicates. Okay, yeah, so it does check to make sure that they're not equal. Okay, so that's all I wanted to see. So I think I can copy all of this and then I'll just delete what I don't need. Okay, so this will be effect state, just a little different, and let's change this to effect evaluation state. So really we just need the state and the actions, we don't need either of those. So ordering phase is good, on complete. Okay, this is the ordered, the player order, but we don't need that. Hi Foul Play, is this a Spotify playlist? No, it's actually just the Overclocked Remix channel on YouTube. They have a playlist of their songs. I just copied that playlist and put it on shuffle and deleted a couple songs that I couldn't play due to YouTube rules, and there we are. Oh wait, this is like... Oh yeah, the stored options, we don't need that. And all actions, what is this? Generated, okay, so this is where we deposit the finished actions. So that is fine. We'll need to change this value. So let's change this to effect states and effect index. And this should be well, I guess we can use the same message. Let's go ahead and change it. So on after turn effect actions generated. I think this will be easier. Oh, we spelled this wrong. It's supposed to be regenerated targets, but I actually don't need it here. Okay. So what do we change here? So actions. Oh, I see. So if it's idle, we want to call the Lua script, which will be a little different. Okay, so before we go any farther here, let's make just like the skeleton class for the Lua caller. So this will be after turn effect. I can spell this one out. And I can pretty much just copy this. And deposit that code here. Change the namespace first. Might not need those variables, but can leave them for now. Oh, and I forgot to get these classes, which was what I was... the main thing I needed to do. Okay, so this is... after turn effect, Lua call result. Okay, so I guess this would just be the index, and then a list of options. Oh yes, this is actually different. Yeah, I should have called the... I should have copied the... where is it? The one that turns the actions. Oh, right here. I forgot to move that into the namespace the other day. I'll go ahead and copy this class because we will be using it basically. As is. And sharp. Okay. So the effect index, and then it's just a list of game actions. It's ambiguous, so we have the data, and then the parameter we just need to return the effect index. Okay, so we'll need to change some more stuff in here, but that will be a good start. And now, because we really just needed these classes so that we could insert the correct variables around here. And the results. Okay. So now we have the after turn effect parameters, and we can just call the index, which would be the effect index right here. Oh wait. Okay, well no, this is still correct, but I was thinking that we could actually call each action, or call all these actions at the same time, but that's not actually true, because the previous actions will run first and they might alter the state of the game. So yeah, we will have to call them one by one. And that's not a big deal. Right now we waste a lot of frames, and I have a feeling that because yeah, we just do one frame just seeing if evaluation is complete and then moving to the next, when we really could call the next one right here, but we don't. But that'll be a good way to optimize the game at a later date. I just want to keep things as simple as possible for right now. So I can just the effect index we already have right here. So this is on phase change. So what's this doing? So this is building each of them. So really all we have to do is we don't need any data about them, we just have to make a variable in here for each after effect. And we actually don't need to create these every frame because there's the same number. So let's move this entirely up. Well, I'll leave it because we will need to loop through it to set the states to empty. But right here we can go ahead and create all the states. So I list the database. We don't have that reference. So game data. That's obviously where the after turn effects are all stored. Oops, that's the wrong way to get that. So controller. Okay, so we get the game data there. now we have the after turn effect functions, and just for each one we need to create this effect state. Okay, well we'll go ahead and create that list, why not? I think that the Lua caller will actually just generate a new list, but yeah, so maybe we don't need to actually. Okay, so right here we just need to loop through them and set the state to idle. And set this index to 0. So it should be something like active index. Okay, and if all actions is null, then we create a new list, and then we clear it. And then we say that we're ready to update every frame. So here we see if any state is active. We don't want to clear them actually. But I guess we do want to set state to idle. So if any state's active, then we want to cancel the Lua call for that. There's probably a simpler way we could do this actually. That we don't have to have an evaluation state for each. But no reason to mess with what works, I guess. Okay, so here is the call when the after turn effect is done. So what we want to check is if the result effect index equals the active index. Okay, so that doesn't change at all. And then here is really simple. All we do is we get the list here, and then we add the actions from each end of turn effect onto the list in order. And we already know that the database actions are sorted by priority already, so that is pretty simple. And now that I think about it, if we're going to call these one by one in order, we really don't have to have this effect state at all, because we don't have to keep the lists separate. Okay, so we can simplify this a lot. Okay, we'll have this because we need to know if we're busy or not. We'll still need the active index. Okay, so if active index is greater than database after turn effect functions count, then we know we're done. So let's change this to, I don't know, call function, and then received return. Okay, so if this is call function, so we can simplify this a little bit. So that means we want to call a new function. We don't need any of this code actually. after this we should change the eval state to I guess this should be waiting actually. And then here when we get a value, this is change state. Guess this will go to, well maybe while we're doing this, let's just, okay, well we do need to wait 1 frame before we do anything right here. So yeah, this will be first frame and running. And let's move this to a separate function. Or what do I want to call this? So yeah, that function is actually just where we call a new Lua, or if everything is done, we send complete. Let's just, I don't know, I can't think of what to call this. I mean, because technically it does call a Lua, but if we're done, it doesn't. Let's say handle active index. So basically, on this first update, say handle active. Why is it not showing up? There we go. And we can also set this tick helper to not run, because we don't need to run this function anymore. Because what will happen is we'll receive a value from Lua, and all we have to do is just add the return value to our current list. And then if the eval state is running, so I need to change the eval state before I call that function actually, because this could finish in 1 frame, which would mean calling this function could trigger this function to actually fire before anything after it down here. And then build action list. We don't need that function at all anymore because the action list is built automatically. Okay, so what do we do here? And then we also need to increment the active index and then handle. Okay, so that is a little simpler. So the eval state is first frame, active index set to 0, and then we will also set up this list. Okay, and here we cancel Lua if eval state does not equal idle. And there we go, I think that will do it. Yeah, so that is actually simpler. Doing it like this could work for players as well, but I don't think it's worth it to go and try and edit that. Well, actually, the players have a lot more information, so I don't know. It's probably fine to keep it as it is. Okay, so now when we call this onComplete, which we don't actually handle yet, so we go to the ordering flow control. Where is that? Phase manager, actually. Okay, so on after turn effect actions generated. Okay, let's just generate that and pull this down here. Some of these you can actually remove that because this should not ever happen. Is this ever called? No, I didn't think so. I probably have something like that in the choice phase manager. Might as well include it when thinking about it. Okay, no, I guess I already did delete it. Okay, and then also on actions generated does not have it, but I'll go ahead and copy this before I delete the unneeded phase. Okay, so create after turn effect actions, and then we send to server, and that's when the two turn phases merge up. Okay, so I think that's all good. One thing I know is this, where is it? Generated ordered actions is going to throw an error because there's two claims on it. That's just going to be how it is. So I need to go to the component preferences and set it to have unlimited claims and subscriptions. So let's copy this. Okay, so now we shouldn't get any errors from that. Oh, one other thing. I need to create those two new classes in the subcontroller so they'll actually run. So new after turn effect action creator and new Lua color after turn effect Lua color. Okay. Oh yeah, this is going to complain just because I need to use the Lua colors namespace now. Okay, and now let's play the game and see how far it gets. See my, okay, I thought I fixed that, but claims and selection to actions, Lua call result. Oh, that's just because, yeah, obviously I forgot to update the Lua color. subscribe to here. And last thing, I need to copy that down here. So I can see now I need to move this code into some common object because this after turn affects the color and then the choice selections to actions Lua color will have the same logic, and I definitely don't want to duplicate. Oh, except it is a little different because here it has to deal with the selection. There's gotta be a way. Okay, well actually an action would have no active player if it's an after turn effect. Obviously. And again, I guess, well no, it still might have an active monster. Okay, so yeah, let's so I guess we just need to provide the player index because I don't think it uses that for anything else. Let's I'm getting a little ahead of myself. So actually we don't need to send any arguments to the after turn effect scripts, so that's simple. So first arguments is just user data new nil, or not user data, dynamic value. And the function is database after turn effect functions. It's the same as the parameter effect index. Okay, yeah, we will want to include that, so that's fine. And on complete. So this will be definitely different. After turn effect, script illegal return value. So yeah, some of this stuff is going to need to be common, I think. How do I want to do this? Obviously, this code just needs to be in some other object. And then we need to try and make everything in here generic between after turn effects and selection selection actions. Okay, so what should I call this? I guess Lua generated actions decoder. And this will just provide a query, I suppose. So will it just return an action list, or this just returns a single action, but what do we put in the result? Okay, so it's just a list. I guess we don't actually need to send the action list because it'll just be coming out of the Lua registry. So what we'll want to do, let's get rid of that. Although I guess now I'll need to create it. This new, or construct this new object in there, but whatever. So what I want to do is copy this code as well as this code. So I'll have a reference to it's a variable. To Lua registry, which is basically just an object that contains all objects that Lua code can access. And then we'll need to create this new actions list. So it's data.gameAction. And then I guess we will have to use the or send this the active player. And then we just return actions. Should I be? I guess I should be good and have this. Yeah, I did learn my lesson. Okay, so in my previous game when we used queries, we had to change the arguments for both these objects, and that's why for most of these Lua callers I use structures as arguments, so that if I need to change the values inside, I don't have to rewrite everything. So this will be action decoder result. Yeah, just actions, and then action decoder parameters, and it's just the active player. Oh, I don't know why I got rid of that parenthesis. And then here we'll just return a new result class, and then we can just add in the list like that. So now if for some reason I need to also send, I don't know, a target monster or something in here, I don't have to change the types here in the actual function. I can just add another field into this parameter structure. And since the point of these queries and stuff is to try and make these objects not care about each other, it really simplifies a lot of things. So yeah, I did learn my lesson, and I need to remember to try to stick to it. Okay, so it looks like we also need a reference to the battle. because I didn't type that right. Okay, so first I need to get reference to the variables we need. And battle. And then I just need to register the query. Okay. So now all I have to do is just send -1 when we're on after turn effect. So the only thing I might want to do is change the play exception types. So let's change this to, can't see anything. Let's just change it to action script illegal active monster. So it'll be generic between the two scripts that generate actions, or two script types, I mean. It should be fine. Okay, and so now here we need to get just a reference to the query handle so we can actually call that function. And I'm going to copy this big type variable so I don't have to type it again. Okay, so decode Lua actions. Controller use query. Oops, actually already had the little diamonds in there. So now all I have to do is say result actions equals decode Lua actions, send active player equals -1 dot actions, and then I can delete that. Okay, so let's do the same thing in the selection to targets Lua color. I'll go ahead and copy these lines since they're kind of long. Colors are getting all messed up. I don't know why that happens sometimes. And then I can clear all this. Send. And active player equals parameters dot selection dot player index. Alright, then I need to actually get actions like that. And then I can delete this function as well. Okay, so let's check Unity, see if there's any errors, and then we'll try to run it. Everything looks okay. So if I move here and move this one here, oh, we got some errors, let's look. Query must be claimed correctly. Oh, I didn't, like I said, I needed to create that new decoder in the play subcontroller, which I forgot to do. So, will it? I was hoping it would bring that up. The class I want. Generated actions decoder. scripts cannot access field to get monsters. Okay. But we see it actually did call the Lua. Oops, I don't want to collapse. Yeah, so after turn effect that moves. And it actually called it fast, at first as well, so that's good. But it doesn't have this get monsters function, which we call right here because I haven't created that yet. So Lua interface, battle state. So this is just a list of all monsters basically. So enumerable, or is it enumerator? How do I do this? Let's look in the block position because I did something similar to get all neighbors. Okay, so it's an enumerable. Oh gosh. Okay, and all you have to do is loop through every monster in the battle. I was gonna say maybe I should change it to get alive monsters, but I guess our code should actually check to see if a monster is alive. Okay, we can actually just use a for each here too. And battle monsters, yield, return monster. That's all I have to do. Oh, that's another thing. Cannot convert type. Oh, of course. Okay, so do I have the Lua registry? I do. So I was trying to return a game data monster, but that won't work. I need to return the Lua interface monster. So actually I do need to use an index. 0 and less than battle monsters count. Return registry get monster. The reason we have to do it this way is because the registry is what's called lazy allocating, which means it does not create this monster class until it's actually needed. So that when we call the get monster class, it will create the Lua version of the monster and then return it to us. If it doesn't already exist, of course. Okay, and now I'm surprised I don't have this already. I need a public bool alive. And this is pretty simple. It's just return battle monsters data index dot alive. And then here I should make sure this monster is alive. So if monster dot alive and this position is true, then we'll want to move. So let's try this again. Okay, another error. Let's go look. Real runtime exception, ability scripts, at line 64, attempt to call a null value. So let's look at that. Okay, so monster must be null. Let's print it out. Oops. Gosh. And try one more time. Okay, so it says Lua Gold. Okay, so that's not a nil value. And since it actually printed out the name of the gold monster, we know the monster is not null, so either, I guess the board position is null, but I thought I had a global function that would create a board position like that. I should probably have, since these board positions are immutable, I should probably use, what am I trying to say, the little object registry to only store, just not create duplicates of this. Although it doesn't really need to be stored in memory, does it? Let's, I'll leave it how it is for now, but if I ever change it, we should probably go through here anyway. So, board position, get board position. So, int r and column, int layer. Maybe the board position should just store an index. Okay, so for right now, we'll just create a new one. So now this will also need the Lua registry. And this data index equals data index. So let's get rid of that. So this is just a helper function which returns this as a hex position. But probably doesn't need to work exactly like this anymore. Because we can just use the from board index. Okay, and a column. This and then we just need to add 1 to use the Lua index. position have a 2-string as well? Because I can just use that if it does. I don't have a 2-string here, really. We'll just copy this then. Although I guess we can't really use this in Lua because we need to increment this. So let's see. Well, this is not the most efficient because it has to generate the hex position 3 times, but I mean, 2-string shouldn't be called super often. Okay, so we won't yield it like this. We'll actually use the Lua registry. And we'll let it, let's create another that actually gets the value from a hex position. It's not going to let me generate a method. That's annoying. Below, okay, so we'll get hex position, goes as hex position, and then use registry, get board position, hex. Or we'll return a new one actually. Oh no. Hex. What is the first value actually? I think it's column, isn't it? Yeah, and then hex row and hex. Layer -1. Then we do the same thing. Oh, one more parenthesis. Except layer +1. The playlist is giving us some pretty hardcore songs tonight. Alright, and now... Okay, I'll just get rid of that. Not really needed. Okay, so here I'm not going to store these board positions. If we see it's causing a lot of slowdown, it's not really that hard to change. Okay, so battle.board, and this, data hex. And then here we just return get board position. To board index, then we just need to pass the board value. Okay, so let's see what errors that brings up. There might be a few. Okay, so yeah, this is... Okay, yeah, this was for map generation. I think this will still be fine. The Lua object registry, I mean, it's not active during map generation, so, but the problem is now the board pose uses that. I guess we can make it active. It's not like it can't be. sure if I even use this in my map generation function. Yeah, map generation was written a while ago, before I really got a handle on how I wanted everything to work. But I guess now's a good time to fix it as any. So monster, new position. So all we have to do now is just go through the registry. Return, action, target position. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so here we actually kind of do some gymnastics to get the data index, but we don't need to do that anymore because we can just pass it straight there. And interface manager. Okay, so here's what I was wanting. It was, yeah, so this should be board position, not block position. That was the problem. So now I just need to go through the registry. Do I have? I do have it. Okay, so yeah, we'll want to have int our column, row, and layer. So registry get a value, and then get board position, and it'll be a new hex position, and then we'll need to remember to add, or no, subtract 1 from each, because it's coming in from Lua. And the map creator, yeah, so this is stuff we need to fix. So there's 2 ways we can do it. Right now the Lua registry is not active during map generation, but like I said, we could make it active. That's probably the easiest way to do it. Yeah, there's quite a bit of code duplication here. The Lua interface manager only runs during the play controller, which is not a huge deal, but I don't really want to. Well, I mean, it's not like this code is that complicated, so. Hey Ice Boy, good to see ya. Fortunately, I only have a couple more minutes, but I'm glad that you can make it. So let's just get the Lua registry here. I guess the other option is that I could just make these board positions be a separate map generation only object. Well, that seems like a shame because then they'd have different code. Oh, I'm doing good, Ice Boy. How are you tonight? And, oh, it's fine. I know we all have lots of things to do, so Just glad that you could come now. Controller, look at variable. Okay, and when is this actually deposited in here, I wonder? Or in other words, when is the value or variable claimed? Right here on the interface manager, okay. So, let's see. Best, maybe what I should do is just have this object yeah, let me just think about it. Have this object. I guess I'll need to watch the main phase and then like register and unregister this battle state only during the play phase, and then this board position only during plays and map generation, and then I'll need to like clear out the Lua object registry once the game has started. That's not gonna be a good idea. But when is this even claimed, I wonder? I'm trying to find. Oh, I guess there's no claim component. Yeah, because this isn't like a variable. Glad to hear you're doing good. Okay, so let's add a little note. I guess well, I'll leave this here because we don't know for sure this works correctly. So let's say update Lua registry manager to work between phases and add, remove Lua globals as needed, and then update map generation to use Lua registry. Okay, so that won't be that big of a deal. But I think that's about it for me. So I'm glad that we could at least get through the end of turn effects. Well, we know that they're called, although there's some problems with the Lua, but it won't be that hard to fix. And again, tomorrow, hopefully I'll be live around 8:30 Eastern, but as I said, Hurricane Harvey is going to be bearing down on me, so I might not be able to stream. So yeah, just keep an eye out on my Twitter and my channel feed for news about that. But again, if you want to join a Discord I just started with me and other viewers, you can press or just check the link in my channel description or type !Discord in chat. And if you missed any past streams and want to catch up, I will upload this, and I have uploaded all my previous videos to my YouTube channel. And yeah, I think that's about it. And so thanks everybody for coming by and chatting. I really appreciate it. And I hope you all have a great night. So hopefully I'll see you tomorrow, but if not, Monday. So hope to see you there. Bye bye.